Hey, what's happening, awesome people? I hope you are having a great day and keeping excited for the day. Welcome back to my channel, Joshua Partugi here. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the community of passionate changemakers. In today's video, folks, we are going to discuss a change on Scrum Guide 2020 that has sparked discussion on the internet sphere. I don't know about you folks, I noticed the word developers that was introduced on the Scrum Guide version 2020 has triggered many interesting discussions on the internet sphere. In some cases, I also noticed it created confusion. So in today's video, we will discuss who are actually the developers that Scrum Guide 2020 refers to. Is it true that developers are only people who write the software codes? Is it true that Scrum is only for IT? If you want to know, stay tuned, don't go anywhere because I'll be back right after this one. In some cultures, the term developers is referred to the people who write the software codes. To understand the concept of Scrum, we should first read the paper titled The New Product Development Game that was published around 1986 on Harvard Business Review. It was written by two professors named Professor Hirotaka Takeuchi and Professor Ikujiro Nonaka. Professor Takeuchi and Professor Nonaka observed the development process of awesome teams who develop awesome products. The teams that were observed by Takeuchi and Nonaka worked at NEC, Canon, Fuji Xerox, and Honda. On that paper, the term Scrum was mentioned once because Takeuchi and Nonaka described how these awesome teams work together towards one product goal like a rugby team. Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland read this paper and brought this concept forward. They tried it out in their own team and first presented their learnings from using it in their own team almost 10 years later after they read the paper, which is around 1995 at a conference named Object-Oriented Programming System Languages and Applications, or in short, OOPSLA. That event probably popularized Scrum in the software development community. Ken and Jeff codified Scrum into Scrum Guide around 2009. Scrum Guide itself defines Scrum as a lightweight framework that helps people, teams, and organizations generate value through adaptive solutions for complex problems. During its existence in the market, Ken and Jeff have received so much feedback from many Scrum practitioners and have updated Scrum Guide so Scrum can be applicable in non-software development contexts too. Throughout Scrum Guide, when we read it, the word software is only mentioned once, which is at the beginning of Scrum Guide. Scrum Guide 2020 strives to be simpler and more generic so that it can be used in as many contexts as possible. The term developers in the context of Scrum refers to product developers. And when Ken and Jeff refer to a product, they're not only limiting it to software products. As Scrum is a framework that can be made fit to our context, we must first understand what product we are going to develop before using Scrum. And after we know the product, we also need to know who are the people actually paying for that product or who are the customers for that product. As we already know, according to Scrum Guide 2020, the Scrum team consists of a product owner, a Scrum Master, and developers. In the paper that Takeuchi and Nonaka wrote, what made the teams that they observed were awesome is because they were cross-functional or multidisciplinary. The developers in the Scrum team are cross-functional, which means the whole team has all of the skills needed to turn an audacious product goal into valuable product for the customers. It's the whole team that needs to be cross-functional, not every individual in the team, which means Scrum doesn't require each individual in the Scrum team to be a generalist. So folks, I've already made a video on the product goal. If you haven't watched that video, go click the link up here to watch the video. Now, let's use an example. If we are developing a digital video camera, there would be people who are skilled in software engineering in the Scrum team. But only that skill is not enough to develop a digital video camera. There would also be people who are skilled in but not limited to optical engineering, electrical engineering, image sensor, semiconductor, audio engineering, material science, machine learning, statistics, user interface design, product design, color science, technical writing, and quality assurance. And probably there would be much more than what I have just mentioned here. Now, let's look at another example. If we are developing a vaccine, which does not have any software aspect in the product, there would be people who are skilled in but not limited to pharmacological science, clinical trial, immunogenicity testing, molecular diagnostic science, virology science, computational biology, histology, public health, regulatory affairs, and probably much more than what I have just mentioned here. So, from these two examples that I have just shared with you, that means we can use Scrum outside of IT or software development. Scrum effectiveness starts with understanding what product we are going to develop, then identifying all of the skills needed to develop that product to be valuable for the customers. Focus on the skills, not people's job titles and position in the company. Some individuals may have several skills that he or she can contribute to the Scrum team. A business analyst, for example, may know how to test the product. They may know how to write a user manual for the product. A tester may know how to do visual design. They may also know how to do customer research. And as I previously said, Scrum doesn't require everyone to be a generalist. Some individuals in the Scrum team may be a specialist in certain areas. For example, I have worked with a Scrum team who developed a pacemaker, and there was a doctor who is also part of the developers. Some individuals may also be part-timer in the Scrum team. This doctor, interestingly, only works several days in a sprint and only a few hours a day. But even though he doesn't work full-time throughout the sprint, he's part of the Scrum team. Just like a football or soccer player who only plays in the last 10 minutes of the match is still part of the football or soccer team. When we look at our organization's main business and the product that our customer purchased, oftentimes the actual product is not the software itself. For example, if your organization is a government institution, your product may be regulations or policies for the public, because that is what the taxpayers are paying for. If you are in an insurance business, software would be a supporting component to increase the value of the insurance product you're actually selling to the customers, which means the developers who develop the insurance product are not only limited to the software engineers. The same case if you are in a bank, the banking products would be savings or home loans or credit cards. Software would be a component to add value to the banking products, but may not be the actual product itself because the customers are not paying for the software. According to Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland, simplifying the name of the people who contribute to increasing the value of the product, it was not a simple task. To ensure that we are not excluding those who do not write the software code and that is not too software-centric, there were actually several suggestions from many Scrum practitioners out there. There was a suggestion to name it as implementers, so that Scrum can be more generic and not too software-centric. But then, if we think about it, the work that people do here is more than just implementing. They innovate. They create something that has not been developed before. They develop something valuable for the customers. There was also a suggestion to name it as deliverer to empower people to move towards continuous delivery beyond just the development of the product. As some of you already know, the software development community is pushing and promoting continuous delivery concepts and integrating people from development and operations to be a single unit. But I personally think that deliverer is also a weak term. There was also a suggestion to name it as builder. But building is static, unlike a product that is continuously developed to generate value. There was also a suggestion to name it as doers. But naming it as doers just undermines the value that people create, and I personally think doers is not that inspiring. People don't just go to the office to do work. They are developing something that will improve other people's life. They develop something that may change the world. So folks, the lesson here is naming is not easy. What seems to be acceptable in one culture may not be acceptable in another culture. Therefore, we should value the purpose people strive for rather than spending too much time being fussy about the names, job titles, and labels. Names, job titles, and labels often create silos and separate people from moving together as one unit towards a common purpose. When we are in the Scrum team, we should move towards the product goal together like a rugby team. So, as written on Scrum Guide, the word developers in Scrum is not to exclude, but to simplify. If you get value from Scrum and also add value to the product, whether you are an analyst, tester, quality assurance, designer, user experience professional, data scientist, architect, marketing professional, governance, engineer, researcher, scientist, mathematician, people operations, legal, policy maker, consider yourself included. The simplification into a single unified term should unify everyone in our company towards achieving the same product goal. Alright, that is all from me today, folks. I hope this video clears up the air and helps you to strive for a cross-functional Scrum team and also include those who are outside of the IT department to be part of the developers. If you found today's video helpful, don't forget to smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss any of my future videos. Until then, don't forget to stay awesome.